Hi, Lepora here. I'm here to talk to you about something very important. It's not warm and fuzzy, but it's so important to you. And hopefully you already find it that way, or at least will by the end of this conversation. And it's about surviving or getting sidelined and why CEOs and CHROs, as well as other leaders like yourself, must be relentless early adopters in this AI era. So let's have a real conversation, right? You're not being disrupted by AI. You are being disrupted by other leaders, other CEOs, and other types of leaders who are willing to use AI more than you, who are willing to adapt to change and to lead change more relentless than you are. And that is just the fact of it. So I don't want you, my friend, to be a cautionary tale in all of this. You know, many are arguing that this is the last big wave in the tech era, so to speak. And whether you believe that or not, we do know that it's a huge one. Technology is quietly and loudly rewiring how all of us work, or at least most of us. Email has been killed has killed the memos, the faxes, they're dead long ago. Like if you see someone asking for your fax number, you're like, what? It sort of catches you off guard and brings you back to flashbacks from the 70s, right? ERPs, CRMs, those killed spreadsheets. I'm sure there's some companies still using Excel for their customer relationships, but this is newsflash. It's time to move on if you are. Collaboration tools have killed the walking in the halls and the hope to catch you someday, so I can get you to sign off on this or that. It's not to say that the hallways still don't have some action going on in this season of return to work, but the fact of the matter is it's not going to slow down the global collaboration that is taking place through technology and that has decreased business travel more than likely for a very long time. Now, at first look, it's always looking like, oh, this is a trend that's going to just stabilize and fade away, but it's not. We've seen efficiencies and we appreciate those efficiencies, but with those efficiencies of technology comes the challenges, right? So we've seen efficiency upgrades like faster communication, cleaner data, fewer manual tasks, and those efficiencies compound to changing our lives, right? We see them reshape job descriptions, require new skills that were not required by people before. Performance expectations are higher because now you have this AI partner, right, to work with. Standards have significantly went up, and that applies to leaders as well. So leaders who were slow before to wake up in the morning and realize that the bar has lifted and changed, they are putting themselves as well as their teams at risk. Those who are now defending underperformance now have to ensure that they're able to use data to legitimize the decisions that they're making, because that's what every other leader is doing. So all of this extra work that some leaders are still doing who have not embraced AI, who have not embraced modern day technologies, are slowing down their entire teams and putting not just teams but organizations at risk of being left behind. Historically, we see a lot of organizations that waited until systems were proven. And some of those organizations, many of you listening to may not have even heard of. Kodak, Blockbusters. They wanted case studies, they wanted conference panels, they wanted this safe consensus before they moved forward. But by the time they felt comfortable to buy the right technology to move forward, to elevate, they were extinct. That's not what I want to happen to you as a leader. It's definitely not what I want to happen to your team or to your organization. So as we zoom back, there's a lot of lessons that we can learn. And we can see today that AI is that same exact movie, but this is the time for us to get it right. Someone can hit fast forward 10x and see a very digitized world, one that is very different from even today that has changed so much within the last 2 years. So why are we doing the work from the past that we no longer have to do? Why are we still using manual spreadsheets with a bunch of errors when we can be using technologies that is far more sophisticated? Now, I know there are many people at the end of that camera and they're saying, you're not talking about the negatives of AI. You're not talking about the environmental challenges that come with AI. And I agree with you, those challenges are very real. And if you have the luxury to not use AI and to continue to perform at the highest level of your ability, and your team members will be able to perform as well. And you can guarantee that you and your team members are going to be thriving and competing and existing within 3 years without AI, then I tell you to immediately turn off this video right now. But if you cannot guarantee that, I urge you to take this time in order to line yourselves up and to line up your team so that you are not facing a 2-year, 3-year performance gap that will be very real very soon for organizations who refuse or delay adaptation. AI is not just automating tasks. I know a lot of people are talking about automation, but it's doing far more than that. It is increasing the intelligence of not just the computer itself or the software itself, but it's increasing our intelligence as you partner with it. You should not be just reviewing information and spitting it out, but you should be collaborating, having conversations with it that challenges the way that you think, because the way all of us think is limited and flawed. Now, does that mean that every time AI produces something, it's going to be perfect or it's going to be as sound as something that you would say? Absolutely not. But what it does do is challenge you to be a better leader, more strategic. It's going to challenge you in a way that your direct reports might fare to, that your peers may not care to. And that's where it comes in. It gives you 10 times more strategic insights, 10 times more impact on the skills that you already have, 10 times more impact on your organization's ability to scale and to be profitable and to benefit those who work for you as well as those who are in the marketplace, in the communities that you donate. Now, there's a layer that is different, right? Because the layer that comes with AI is different from the other computers and technologies because it's far more, shall we say, unpredictable. And that is very real. And so there should be caution, obviously, anytime you're using AI. But still, I urge you to be that early adopter, that innovator who's going to proceed with caution while at the same time using your intelligence and your common sense to make the right decisions. This is not a time to sit in the middle and to be neutral, because neutral is fatal. So like I said, you have to have a game plan. If you're opting out of AI, you have to have a game plan that is going to assure your survival and thriving for yourself and for your team and your organization, because that's only fair to them. So let's be very specific. Doing nothing looks like more than likely an organization that is not extinct. So you don't want to necessarily roll out every single AI use case that you hear that your competitors are doing, but you want to look at your organization and say, how can you best use AI very specifically, appropriately for your organization? So you start by first assessing what your organization is, who are the people, what is the culture that you want to retain, how can AI help you to retain that culture, to reach those margin gaps that you've been trying to reach, as well as elevate to a level that you may have not imagined. So I urge you, don't be cowardice in clinging to a wait and see type of methodology, but weaponize this effort of testing and learning. AI-enabled productivity is no longer a differentiator because now almost everyone is using it. Now it is a matter of survival and keeping up. So there's going to be more pressure, there's going to be more scrutiny, there's going to be new tools to learn, but it will be worth it. And the posture of CEOs and CHROs who care about their teams and organizations right now are deeply engraved in their processes of building an AI system that works for their organization. So look at your work design. Look at the capabilities that you need to build. Take a look at the ethics and the culture of your organization and your talent strategy, and ensure that they are aligning well with the AI culture, the AI teams, the AI systems that you are building. You are the one who's in control. Make sure that you're paying attention to how your work needs to be redesigned in this new AI environment, not just automation, but how it needs to be meaningfully redesigned, how jobs need to evolve, how people need to be trained and adapt skills that are going to be very important. Define those appropriate performance standards that are going to be appropriate for the specific skill goals, performance goals that you have for your organization. The time is not now to wait for comfort. The time is not now to wait for consensus or another best cases study that's going to come out, but the time is now for you to make the mistakes and get back up and build an organization, an environment that is enabling AI in a responsible way, in a way that is competitive for your team, competitive for your organizations. The tech era has already proved the point, and now it's game time, right? So the argument is over whether or not AI is here to stay. We know that AI is here to stay. It's just a question of what is going to be the level of intensity and speed that your organization is going to take in order to remain relevant, in order to compete in the future. So the real choice is not AI or no AI. The real choice is, will you or will another person be that CEO or that CHRO who's going to lead the future and who's going to implement in a way that is growing productivity as well as performance for the next 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, 24 months. Those who use AI are buying themselves more runway, more optionality, more influence over the future of their organizations, and those who not are taking a grave risk. You will know which one you are by what you actually do about AI in the next 90 days, not the next 5 years, because I don't think you have that amount of time to implement it. But within the next 90 days, I challenge you to get your organization on a very healthy trend and healthy pathway to a strong culture that is embracing AI in a way that is meaningful and beneficial for your organization. And you can check out the book, Making of a Strong Culture, because that will help and ensure that you're keeping the right culture intact and or creating an even better one while you're implementing AI within your environment. So I hope you have a wonderful time implementing AI. I know there will be some hiccups, but I do believe that you will do very well if you stay strong to the course. Have a blessed one.